Imagine waking up in a portable home on an endless grassland surrounded by a herd of animals rather than in your bed surrounded by roads and buildings. Most people have heard of Mongols from Genghis Khan, but few know what everyday life looked like for these nomads for centuries. I became obsessed with Mongolian tradition because their way of living is so drastically different from my own. While learning about nomads, I learned about ancient traditions and how nomads have grown with technology over the years. Although Mongolian culture has shifted majorly over time, it continues to hold on to these core traditions that have defined the culture for absolute centuries. First, I'll discuss what it looked like for ancient nomads centuries ago. Then I will connect how modern nomads continue those traditions while adapting to using the world today. To understand nomadic life today, we need to understand where these traditions began. Ancient nomad culture developed a unique culture based on mobility, survival, and family. Daily life centered around herding animals such as horses, sheep, goats, camels, yak, and ox. This is essential because this is the main food source of all of the nomads. They moved with their herds so they can eat their byproducts and drink their byproducts such as cheese and milk, and they can take care of their herds. But one major problem with this back then was that stuff like this was not able to be made and processed. They didn't have refrigerators to keep the milk cold. Everything went bad. So that was a big issue back in the ancient times. They also lived in portable tents that were called gurs, and these tents could be taken apart and put back together within 30 to 60 minutes, and they were often made of wood and cloth, just like a normal ancient tent, according to Columbia University. Knowing to ride a horse back then was like learning to walk for nomads. Children that were extremely young were taught to ride horseback, and it was essential to their mobility mainly. Hospitality and being welcoming was also a huge common norm, as it was also essential for survival mainly, because they wanted to keep good relationships with whoever they could just in case of the risk of conflict. Ancient nomads survived by following their herds, living in portable homes, and building a culture based on family and mobility. Now transitioning over to the current nomad culture, modern Mongolian nomads continue many ancient traditions while adapting to the demands of the modern world. Today, tons of Mongolians still herd livestock in fields and live in gurs. However, families now use technology to make their time easier while continuing their migration. These include modern shoes, refrigerators, televisions, and more, according to TimeTravelTurtle.com. And this is what it really made it possible to expand this lifestyle and live it out modern day, because you could actually preserve stuff with refrigerators and stuff like that. It made it a lot easier. Modern nomads also have cultural traditions through festivals, such as one called Nadam, where people connect and compete in horse racing, wrestling, and archery mainly. Although naturally, with climate change and urbanization, lots of families have been straying away from the nomadic lifestyle. Although, many continue to pass their traditions on to future generations to live on. Today, Mongolian nomads combine modern technology with traditions that are century years old, proving that their culture can adapt to technology while preserving its real soul. Today, we've reviewed how Mongolian nomads have built their lives around herding, mobility, and tradition, and how they continue to adapt with the speed of today and tomorrow. Although the original Mongolian nomadic lifestyle has shifted a bit from its origins, it still remains one of the world's best examples today as a traditional lifestyle, being continued even into 2026. When you think about modern life, remember that many of us depend on technology to take care of most of the heavy lifting, whether it's through communication, mobility, or productiveness.